Rabbi. There's a question that came up a few times with people I've discussed with. Given the fact that there is many Jews who feel that Zionism is linked to Judaism, they say that it's linked. So I think 80% of American Jews, 80% of British Jews, and even more say that they identify as Zionist, and they say that this is part of their faith. How should people view this argument, and how should it be challenged? Because ultimately, it's the two things are being shown as synonymous now. So if you start to try and do something for a pro-Palestinian cause to say we need to stop the genocide, we need to account this Zionist entity, they say, oh, it's just because you're anti-Semitic. It's just because you're anti-Semitic and you really hate Jews. And they try to make this argument. What is the best way of challenging that?
First of all, you have to divide between Zionism and Judaism. You have to tell them that Judaism is a religion. Jews have been identified by keeping the Torah. Yes, and according to Judaism, you're not allowed to have, as I said, state, not mass immigration, not to revolt against the non-Jews in Palestine, which was the indigenous Palestinians. Now, Zionist movement, it's a secular, liberal Zionist movement that wanted to solve the problem of the Jews in exile, gather them, and tell them that the solution that every people have country, military, and a language, it should be a good solution for us. But it's not a good solution, as you see that it's bringing to bloodshed, and especially when you create a land on the head of someone who lives there already, which possess the land. That's not the Palestinians. If we show, and I talked to a lot of such Zionist Jews and tell them, listen, Jews lived with mercy, and they had a great time in exile under the Muslims. What was so wrong with this exile that you have to get out of the exile, conquer the country without any permission, kick out the Palestinians, make them your arch enemy? Tell them, the Zionist movement has no source of any evidence from the Torah. The Torah are forbidden Zionism. Zionism is a racist, nationalist, Zionist Jewish movement that has any source to be supported from the Torah. The Torah are completely forbidden. All the rabbis till the Second World War, they're saying that this movement will bring the destruction of the Jewish people. And we have to tell to the non-Jews that this movement has nothing to do with real Judaism and not with the Jewish people. So today we can see thousands of secular Jews are demonstrating for Palestine. Do you know that?
Well, there are many people who have started to join that call.
Yeah. Why? Because they see that something is wrong over here, that the Zionist movement, yes, had created so many problems for the Jews. They don't understand how deep is that. But according to the Torah, taking out all the Jews from exile with terror methods, as we mentioned that, force them into Palestine and force them to go to fight other people that the land belonged to them. That will bring an endless, relentless bloodshed, as we see. The solution is to tell them, first of all, you have to keep the Torah. Take a look what's written in the Talmud, that you're not allowed to have your own state. You have to remain in exile. You have to live with peace with the non-Jews. Take a look at the Shulchan Aruch. Shulchan Aruch is a daily book, law book of the Jews. There it's written you have to make charity with non-Jews. You have to visit their sick people. And you have to bury them, to give them, when they die, they don't have, a non-Jew cannot bury them, you have to give them a respected burial. And that's what we used to behave. It was a mutual relationship. Zionists come in and just erase the whole thing. Says, no, you don't have to have any consideration with non-Jews. You have to create your country with a police force, with a military power, expanding. Yes, and that's the only solution to exist. Take a look. So many problems, so many people were dying in the wars, and that has no end to it. And many people open their eyes. If we come and tell them that Judaism is a religion, our Jewish only can be called a Jew, not because he wore a gun and he fight the Palestinian. He's not a Jew then. If he doesn't keep Shabbat, the Saturday, he's not a Jew. Jew is considered a Jew only when he keeps the Torah, and the Torah says you have to be under the control of the Palestinian people if you want to live in Palestine as an individual.
Yeah. Are you seeing a change in people that you're discussing with?
Yes. Many people open their eyes. A big Zionist, yes, that what they see, I tell them, don't you see the mistake? Don't you see that this racist nationalist movement that created itself 130 years ago are leading the Jewish people into destruction? Don't you see that people who follow the Torah and lived peacefully, with harmony, with brotherhood, with the non-Jews for thousands of years survived? And now you can see that they, with their jurisdiction on this illegal jurisdiction on Palestine, bringing the Jewish people to destruction. They're gathering the Jews, but they're controlling governments, like the United States government is completely under control of the Zionists. All the resources, natural resources, all weapons, all money that you have in America goes to to finance this illegal entity that brings so much hatred on Jews, because they're trying to speak behalf of all Jews in the world, and in order that every Jew that walks in the street will be targeted, that he's at the address, he's part of the genocide, he's conducting the genocide in Gaza, the ethnic cleansing in the East Jerusalem, the ethnic cleansing and the genocide in the West Bank. By the way, they started to do what they're doing in the West Bank, in the Gaza. They would like to implement it and to adapt it into the West Bank. I'm calling to the Muslim leaders, please remove your thought about benefits, about your own favors. Please be united with more states. Stand up for the rights of the Palestinians. We need a peacekeeping force, Muslim peacekeeping force. It's very easy to assemble it. The Pakistani army, the Turkish army, Algerian army, Egyptian army, they are very powerful armies. You can easily ship in 50,000 soldiers with tens of boats full of food, clean water, medicines, to save this 2.3. It's not anymore 2.3. It's only 2 million now. Because we're talking about 70,000 people that for sure were killed from bombs. How many people were killed by disease? We don't know. So many. How many people starved to death? We don't know, but so many. How many people they didn't take out from under the rubble? Tens of thousands. Why? Because the civil defense is being annihilated. They have no cranes, no bulldozers. They have to pull out people with their hands. How many people you can pull out? How can you sleep, dear Muslim leaders, at night when you see that people being annihilated? Such a good people. They did only good for Jews. I can't sleep at night because of the suffer of the Palestinians. Because people that call themselves Jews conducting the genocide, the same Holocaust that was in the Second World War, the same method, starvation, killing people that should be deprived of medicines, no food, no clean water. That's what the Nazis did to the Jews. How can people who call themselves so-called Jews? Jews is a religion of mercy. Mercy, yes, of non-Jews, as I mentioned in the Shulchan Aruch, that people are supposed to do charity, visiting sick non-Jew people, and give them a respected burial. I'm asking you, please, put aside all your dispute, to be unified, to help the people of Gaza to be saved from annihilation, to be saved from Holocaust. It needed to be sent a peacekeeping force, kick out the hell out the Zionist terror squads from there, show them that there's not their place. It's not their place in all over Palestine. They have no right to rule in ancient Palestine. But now to save these 2 million people that left over, to save them from dying from thirst, hunger, and bombs. Please.